What do you start with when you have somebody on your table?
Manual myofascial release. That's going to be my go-to starting point because it allows me to assess the client, assess their pain threshold, see how well they're going to recover afterwards.
Break that down, though. Break that down. The release.
The myofascial release technique.
Yes.
So it is it's a heavy pressure technique, but it's not made to, even though there will be discomfort, it's not meant to be painful. It's going to be on the borderline of hurts so good, right? Because you're already in pain.
Right.
So there's nothing we can do to get around pain. You can't get around pain, you can't go over it, you can't go under it. You're gonna be in that cycle. The only way to the other side of pain is through. And so these deep, heavy compressions press on that fascial that's sending that signal to where you're holding it long enough to where it will break open, because the body can only fight against for so long till it's gonna say, I can't fight anymore, I need to adjust.
Right.
Because I need to get rid of this discomfort, because the muscular system does not want you to feel pain. And it's either gonna fight back or it's gonna give in. And I want it to get to the point of it needs to give in to what I'm doing.
Teezy for the people!
Sean Teezy. Teezy for president.
Teezy for the people.
How you doing today?
I'm outstanding. How are you?
Are you for the people active? Who got the best wings in Atlanta?
Magic City.
You look a little tied up.
ATL all day.
Teezy for the people. Yes, y'all, listen. I had to bring a real professional inside the building today because I know y'all got aches. I know y'all got pains. You know, when you're trying to figure out what's going on with your body. So it's only right that we introduce Allie with Relief Therapy. Allie, how you doing?
Thank you, I'm doing well, thank you.
Appreciate you stepping out, you know, on this Sunday on your day off and
No,
things
of
like
course.
that, you know.
I appreciate you having me.
I really feel like I just had to get you in here because, like, all right, I was like, all right, therapy, right? And when I think of therapy, you know, we think of like just someone, you know, just, you know, coaching you on, you know, verbally on like, you know, mindset and things like that. But there's different types of therapy, right?
Yes.
So can you explain, you know, your type of therapy and actually what do you do?
So what I do is neuromuscular therapy and myofascial release. And it's a very specific technique in massage that is actually therapeutic to the body. So it's not just about mindlessly rubbing on the skin or putting oil on somebody. These are actual techniques that break down pain barriers, allow you to function better, and really increase flexibility, mobility, overall, the whole nine.
Right, that's dope. That's dope. How did you get into like just, you know, saying, all right, well, I want to be a therapist?
I really just kind of fell into it. So I'm originally from New Orleans.
Okay, New Orleans.
I came out here after Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, wow.
And so after Katrina, it was kind of like, well, what do I want to do with my life? And I just randomly in my mind at the time just picked massage. And when I started going to the classes, I realized how much I loved learning about the muscular system in the body and how it moves.
Right.
That from that moment, you know, the decision was I just wanted to work with athletes after that.
That's dope. Speaking of Katrina, so what was you doing before Katrina?
Hey, nothing much really. You know, doing bartending work, just
Right.
you know, in the party scene, just nothing productive.
I know that, man, that time was crazy. It's like the whole world, like, really haven't seen anything like that before what happened with Katrina. I remember people were staying in, like, the Superdome and things like that, and they were staying on top of their houses. And how did that affect you?
So I actually left the day before the storm actually came back. I really wasn't feeling the effect until I tried to go back home and get my stuff. And all of my stuff, I was on the bottom floor of an apartment. So at that time, I lost everything.
Wow.
All the furniture was molded. I only left with what I came to Atlanta with, which was like 2-3 outfits and a toothbrush.
Wow.
And so came out here and just started
Was most
all
of your
over.
family from New Orleans?
No, my family's more from up north.
Okay.
I was pretty much the only one out of my family that was raised in New Orleans.
Okay.
So-
What made you want to go to New Orleans and just live there since all your family's in New York?
Well,
North.
My family at the time, everybody lived in New Orleans during that time, except during Katrina. My mom and like sisters had moved out here to Atlanta, and I was the only one that was left in New Orleans at the time of Katrina.
So a day before, you just packed up and just zoom.
Yeah, and it was more so because my sister's husband worked for the Coast Guard, and their orders of how they needed to respond to what was coming.
Right.
He was like, "I'm picking you up and getting you out of there."
Right, I know that. Man, that whole experience, listen, I'm just like the biggest baby when it comes to like thunderstorms. So I can imagine when it comes to like, you know, real like just hurricanes and things like that and just floods. Like we don't even think about that. And even like after the flood or after the hurricane, like you got mold in houses and things like that. You have people that's actually starving on the streets because they have nothing. They're not fortunate to like actually leave, or they don't have any type of information. I remember around that time, you know, it was mixed signals about, you know, if people had enough time to evacuate and things like that. So it was just a rough patch with Hurricane Katrina, and I believe that was like one of the first times in recent history that we actually seen something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, for sure. So I'm glad that you moved to Atlanta. So when you moved to Atlanta, what was like the first, did you find the loft? Did the loft find you, or?
No, so the loft, I'm trying to, because it's a journey, it's a story, a process, so I'm trying to bring it down. Bringing me to the loft, or how I got to the loft, 8 years ago, the original owner of the loft was a man named G. Bryant.
Okay.
And I had met him 2 or 3 years prior to that because I was overweight. I weighed over 225 pounds, and my heart was failing. And I was basically bedridden for 3 months. And so this one doctor, after a year of doctors, came to me and was like, if you want to get better, you need to exercise, you need to watch what you eat, you need to take care of yourself. And that changed my mindset because at the time they had me on a breathing treatment that they said I had to take for life. And I had to take it every 3 hours for 20 minutes, shake for 45 minutes, and that was going to be my life.
Wow.
They said that there was nothing else that they could do with me until that last doctor told me just to live a healthy lifestyle. And going on Instagram, I found this guy. He's a trainer, so I started training with him. And the first day I met him, you know, right before we parted, I was like, because I was going to do massages for him. And I was like, I'm going to change your life. And he goes, I'm going to change your life. And when he said that, it almost like hit me like a lightning bolt, where I was like, oh shit, like who did I just make a deal with?
At the right place, right time.
And so started training with him. He got me off of all breathing medications within 2-3 months. And he would always talk to me about being an entrepreneur, and you know, he was going to own this dope gym one day. And when he did, he's going to have a massage office in there. And like I said, we probably stopped training about 1.5 years, and then he popped up with the loft. And I sent him a message like, oh, you got a massage office in there? And he was like, come see me Monday. And the rest is history. Relief therapy was started in that moment.
That's dope. So let's break it down. So I've seen some of the things that you do. You do cupping, right? All right. So is cupping like a detox type of thing? Like, does it help you detox? Like,
yes, it definitely can. Just because it's one of the deepest treatments that you can give the body, because its main purpose is to remove any blockage or stagnation that lives within the body to allow that optimal blood flow, oxygen, and energy. So whatever's in is going to come out.
Because it looks like it hurts.
And it's really the opposite. Like, it looks like it hurts, but it's probably one of the most relaxing feelings that you can ever have. I've cupped on my daughter since she was 2 years old. So if a 2-year-old can handle the cups, anybody can handle the cups. And it's up to the client of how much pressure you really want in those cups of what's comfortable for you.
Right.
You should never be getting a treatment that you cannot breathe comfortably through. That's where you're feeling like you're being attacked.
Right.
That's kind of the opposite of what the purpose of what recovery is. Recovery is about healing the body.
Right. Now, do you all right, so I'm an athlete. Say I'm an athlete, right? And I come in here and I'm like, yo, doc, my neck hurts and my leg hurts. Like, what would you recommend?
The first thing I'm always going to recommend is a massage. Is more specifically the type of massage that I do.
Like what type? Oh, it's like
myofascial release.
Okay.
Sports massage, myofascial release, because of what those two techniques hold, right? So sports massage is specifically geared for sports. Well, what do you do in sports? You move. And so that technique is to help you move better.
Right.
So that's a great technique. The myofascial component is basically what is all of our muscles, all of our organs are wrapped in this thin layer, kind of like the skin on a chicken breast.
Right.
And it's called the fascia. And in this fascia holds your muscles, and your nervous system flows through your fascial system as its line of communication. So that's where you get the mind-body signaling of, this is where I hurt here in this part of my body, or I hurt here, because that nervous system in that area, in that shoulder, is saying, hey, something's not right, something's wrong, and this is where the communication lies. Now, because of that and those signals that's going to go, that muscle is going to say, something's wrong, I need to tighten up. I need to protect this area, because the number one purpose of the muscular system is to protect you, is to protect your organs, is to protect your skeletal system, is to protect everything internally.
Right.
Which is why dealing with the muscular system and the fascial system, once you deal with level 1, you can deal with level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Correct.
Most people just want to go to level 10 and then wondering why they're not getting the results that they really need to move, function better, and not feel the pain, because you just skipped level 1. If you peel back the skin, the first level is the fascia. The second is the muscle.
Talk to him. Right, talk to him. That's how you do it. Right, that's dope. Because, man, athletes, man, it's just like so much of a high risk, because like they're automatically like they're moving every day. Like even when it comes to just football players, let's talk about football players just alone. Like the hits, they constantly need recovery, right? Mm-hmm. So you got like these hydro baths, are they called, like something like that? Like, do you recommend like a cold plunge or anything before you actually do your part of the therapy?
No, I definitely would never recommend a cold plunge before me, because cold is for restriction. You really kind of want to only use it when swelling is present.
Right.
After that, it's why would you want to restrict yourself? The point is freedom within your body, freedom within movement and mobility. So ice is kind of the difference. Now, if you want to do like a sauna or, something of hot natured, that's fine too, but we can always probably be more beneficial done after versus before, because now your muscles are nice and open after treatment. Everything can now be absorbed deeper within the body. And then it's like I said, it's really about wanting to flush out everything that we kind of broke down, so you have that better recovery the next day.
Now, I know this might sound crazy, but do you recommend, like, I go get a massage from you, right? I feel real good. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything's flowing in the body. Do you feel like do you recommend like let's say a diet or something, or like, would you send me home with something, basically like something that I need to do just by myself?
Yeah, so typically, at least the protocol that I have with people is, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is probably increase your protein. Just make it lean protein, right? Because protein is the building blocks of the muscles. And so we just broke the muscles down. We need to build them up. Also plenty of water, of course, because you want to flush out the lymphatic system. And this is my go-to for life, is Epsom salt soak.
Okay, I love Epsom salt.
Hot water, as hot as you can possibly stand it, with 2 pounds of Epsom salt.
2 pounds?
2 to 3 pounds. And everybody I know is like, oh yeah, I use Epsom salt. They do that little
just a
chef,
little salt bay.
But that's not even how it's used, especially if you look at the measurements of, your body weight versus how much water you have in a tub. So 2 to 3 pounds. And for those who don't have a tub, you can just soak your feet, and it will have the same effects over the full body as it was if you would just soak your full body.
What?
Because the feet are basically the portals to internalize the body. So which is why grounding and walking barefoot is so good for the nervous system.
I heard about that. Yeah. Like just walking in, you're just barefooted all around.
So just soaking your feet and getting those meridian lines activated, it will translate.
See, my feet is hot right
body.
now. My feet is hot right now. That's probably why I'm sweating. You know what I'm saying? But that's real interesting to know, because it's like, all right, we would think like we would have to soak our full body, right? And then you said 2 to 3 pounds, like putting 2 to 3 pounds of Epsom salt, to soak your full body. That's one thing. But if you can just get one of those little feet massagers, put 2 3 pounds in there, and you'll still get that same effect.
And you'll still get the same effect, because, mind you, Epsom salt is supposed to be like a detoxing agent. And this is why you want the water to be so hot, because it should provoke a sweat to come out of you to cleanse you to where now you're really releasing what you need to release. And you're not going to get that release by a little sprinkle here. Like, the water needs to be hot and uncomfortable, and the Epsom salt needs to be plentiful.
Now, I sweat easily, right? As we can tell, I can sweat easily. So what do you recommend for somebody who sweat easily like that? Is that good? Is it good to sweat, or
I mean, yeah, it shows that your lymphatic system is working properly.
Right.
So I mean, anybody that has, I would say, like an excess sweat, it would be doing more Epsom salt soaks to kind of get it out of the way to balance your body internally, because there's so many reasons of why that could be possible.
How do you feel about you said protein, right? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about going on just a strict like all meat diet?
That's not my thing. I would not recommend something like that.
Because Joe Rogan does it, and then he...
Yeah, and look, and some people, I can't speak enough about it. I would just say, at least from what I know about the body, that's not a route that I would take personally, but, if other people...
Well, all right, so different type of protein, what do you think?
So I would just go for, like, just lean protein, anything from turkey to chicken to salmon, just very lean protein, and cooked well, grilled, not fried.
Right, because they say when you cook it too much, you take the nutrients out of it, right? So if you cook a steak too well, like a well done steak, it just defeats the purpose and things like that. Do you recommend any type of like vitamins or things like that?
No, that's a little bit more out of like my scope of practice. Right. So I do not.
Right, because everything falls hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. So you hear about the elderberries, and you hear about your B12s and all these vitamins. Some people, like when COVID happened, right? You had mixed signals. You had people like, all right, well, you got to go get the vaccine, and then you had people like, well, you just got to go get some sunlight. Mm-hmm. And how did you feel? Did you take the vaccine?
No,
okay.
I didn't. But I think, people try to overcomplicate things. Like when you look at the human body and all of its components and nerves and muscles and these systems that work flawlessly and effortlessly without us really telling it what to do.
Because that was a crazy time.
It is, but it's like you think it's complicated when really complicated things need simple solutions. So you ask about all these vitamins and B12 and all this. Well, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be getting that just from your natural food and nutrition. Right. And I think what works for anybody is it's not what works for everybody.
Right.
You know, to where that's kind of something that I think is a journey within itself, to where you have to, when they talk about know yourself and know thyself, you need to know what makes you tick. You need to know what gives you the nutrients that you need to move forward, what gives you the energy. And that's how you flow through that space. At least that's my opinion. That's
You
just
fell
how I
out with
feel.
any friends because you didn't take the vaccine?
No.
No?
I didn't have any friends that...
Oh, right, that took the vaccine.
I mean, or at least they just kind of respected and understood where I'm coming from, because I believe that the body can heal itself. So for me, if I believe that the body can heal itself, and it's proven, we scab when we bleed, we have colds, and then we don't have colds anymore. You can tear a tendon or a ligament and it can heal by itself naturally. It's about just doing the simple things to put your body in that environment for recovery and for healing. And so anytime that I deal with diseases, 95% of diseases start within the digestive system, because your immune system is in your digestive system. So every time you feed your digestive system, you're feeding your immune system, or you're hurting your immune system.
Right.
And so when you just start doing the small things of getting your normal massages, drinking plenty enough water, like this very simple things that people can control can really cure or help them with a lot of their issues. They want to make it more complicated than what it really is.
What's the self-care routine for you?
My self-care routine, Epsom salt soaks.
All right.
I use my lacrosse ball. I get my regular massages. I exercise. Reading. I stay in prayer. Like mind, body, spirit, that's your trilogy that you really need to have the trifecta of honing in on.
Right, because the reason why I ask is because, some people, they just wake up and just go with the flow of life, just boom. And that's terrifying. Right.
We live in this state, can we normalize having a rest day as being okay, and not something like when people be like, oh, no days off, grind all day, how exhausting. Are
seriously.
you okay? Because
Seriously.
you're about to burn out at any given moment, and you're constantly going from fight to flight, fight to flight, fight to flight. When if you sat in the middle of recovery, in the middle of stillness, in the middle of healing, and then go from this point and then go to fight, come back and then go to flight, how much more effective would you be?
Right.
And we have to rest anyway.
Right.
I don't care how mentally strong you are, how physically strong you are. When your body's tired,
Right, your body's tired.
it's going to shut down on you.
Yeah,
and there's nothing that you can do about it.
Right.
We have to go to sleep every night.
Right.
So why are we scared to really hone in on this recovery aspect that is going to fulfill us and give us everything that we need?
Correct. What was one of the in building trust within your clients? What was one of the things that basically what's the word I'm looking for? When it comes to building trust in your clients, what was one of the obstacles that you had? Because of course, you guys all right, let's just take massage therapists out of here and let's put therapists in there. With my therapist, he has to convince me sometimes to hey, this is the right thing to do, because I'm always giving some type of backlash on what I think is to do. So within your clients, is there some clients hey, listen, don't stretch me out like this, or just work on my my shoulders for right now, because I feel like my shoulders is where it needs to go.
And I think you're exactly right. You just kind of nailed it on the head. Of my biggest obstacle was changing people's belief systems of what they're used to say, I can help you, this will work, but how do I get there? And a lot of times it's just been me listening to my client enough to where if they want just their neck done for every hour, I'm going to do that. Even though I will gently remind them that, hey, I think we could get a little bit further if you let me do something else. But a part of building that trust is, did I listen to what my client said? Did I go listen to their needs of what they felt like they need it in that moment, because I know the body, but I'll never know your body like you know your body,
Right.
and what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. So when you tell me something, I need to make sure that you can translate that. Every time I show up, I'm going to listen to you, to where I get to a point to where now we've built that trust. Now you're like, do what you want.
Right,
And then I'm like,
right.
great.
So what would you start with? Like, what do you start with when you have somebody on your table?
Manual myofascial release. That's going to be my go-to starting point, because it allows me to assess the client, assess their pain threshold, see how well they're going to recover afterwards.
Break that down, though. Break that down. The release.
The myofascial release technique. Yes. So it is it's a heavy pressure technique, but it's not made to, even though there will be discomfort, it's not meant to be painful. It's going to be on the borderline of hurts so good, right? Because you're already in pain. Right. So there's nothing we can do to get around pain. You can't get around pain. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You're going to be in that cycle. The only way to the other side of pain is through. And so these deep, heavy compressions press on that fascial that's sending that signal to where you're holding it long enough to where it will break open, because the body can only fight against for so long till it's going to say, I can't fight anymore, I need to adjust. Right. Because I need to get rid of this discomfort, because the muscular system does not want you to feel pain, and it's either going to fight back or it's going to give in, and I want it to get to the point of it needs to give in to what I'm doing.
That's nice. Have you so we always like to ask about, some of the people that you have like gave a massage to. Mm-hmm. What was one of the favorite people that you actually gave a massage to that maybe known? Michael Vicker.
Yeah,
somebody like that.
You know what? It's really kind of hard to just name one, because I have because I have been very blessed and fortunate to work with a lot of great players. But some of the players that you may see on my IG would be Grady Jarrett, Mohamed Sanu, Demarius Thomas.
Dope.
I've worked with celebrities as well, actors, directors, actresses. So
wow.
There's been. It's almost like, and some of the people I'll never name, and it's like, but my clientele, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
My name good in these streets.
Said some people you'll never name, like Diddy or something like that?
No. No.
I just had to throw that out there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what's up. Have you ever had somebody who came in that was like really jacked up, that took more than, like, cause the recovery process, right? Like if somebody who's been like, say if they got like surgery, after surgery, they send you to recovery, right? And they say, listen, you cannot miss out on this. Like, you need extensive 6 to 8 weeks of this. If not, your joints is gonna stiff up, and you're gonna be right back here with me trying to do surgery. So, like, how long does your process take for somebody who's like really jacked up?
And we're talking like surgeries and stuff like that?
Like, after they got surgeries, now they're coming to you for recovery.
So, and a lot kind of takes to play into that of, what are the goals? Like, are the goals to really affect change? Because recovery is only going to be done well when it's done consistently, just like everything else.
Let me paint a scenario. Somebody broke their ACL. Okay. Now, how long does that take for you to, after they get their surgery and things like that, how long does it take for you to get them back to normal?
About 4 sessions.
4 sessions. That's dope. So y'all heard that.
It could even be, like I said, as short as even in 1 session. It really, like I said, there's so many small little factors that can be put into really what makes it. But if I'm really trying to affect change, I'm always going to put in once a week for 4 weeks minimum to see the most change from point one to the end point.
Correct.
But especially if you're like an athlete or playing a sport, that's always going to be something. It's going to be a continual recovery that we're always going to make sure that we touch upon, like, because you're constantly using that muscle, so you need to be in constant recovery.
Right.
Now, if you tore your ACL, but you're not an athlete, you just want to function better, well, then your recovery is going to look a lot different, to where we'll still do the once a week for 4 weeks, but then after that, it's once a month minimum that you just need to go ahead and get your muscles flushed out and worked on at the bare minimum. But if you're in the gym constantly, if you're trying to get better, get a PR, if you're an athlete, then you need to be getting them on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, injured or not.
How could you heal them in one day, though? How could you heal in one session, though? Like, just like have them recover with their ACL in one session?
So, like I said, it's not about, okay, they just tore it, they just had surgery, and now in one session, like, there's still going to be a process. However, once they come to see me, I make their process more expedited because I loosen the muscles around that area. I get the fluid flowing. So now they're not having that inflammation going on in that knee and the ability to move, but they still have to strengthen. They still have to do other things outside of me.
Correct.
That makes it a process of recovery. But I've treated injuries that I can, easily take care of within one session because the muscle health of the athlete is there.
Right.
They've gotten sessions before, so it's a lot easier to kind of deal with somebody like that versus somebody who doesn't get sessions at all,
right,
who, has been in sedentary movements, who has a lack of movement, to where that would take me a lot longer to go through. But athletes are real easy to work on when they get work.
Do you rather deal with athletes or just like regular, everyday gym?
I would rather deal with athletes.
Okay.
And that's just because they showcase what my techniques can do. I believe that my techniques can not only get you out of pain, but can have you function better, can have you move quicker, be more flexible, be more agile, and prevent injuries. And that's exactly what it's proven with athletes because they move their bodies.
What's one of the pet peeves in like your line of work? Give me 3.
3?
Give me 3 pet peeves.
3 pet peeves. Number 1 is when somebody says active recovery.
Lord Jesus. I'm glad I didn't say that.
Because recovery is rest.
Right.
Rest is stillness.
And that's not
your
active.
body can only heal in rest and stillness, which
Right.
is why a lot of it's like give yourself a good night's rest before you go and do something else. So I don't believe in active recovery. I think it's a sham. Another pet peeve of mine is I wish therapists were a lot more intentional, not only with themselves, but with their clients. Because I believe so much in what I do and the power of touch and the power of healing, but yet it doesn't translate that to the mass of massage therapists and massage community.
Right.
And it's proven because when somebody says, I have a pain, their first thought process is not to get a massage.
Right.
It's to do everything else but to get a massage. And so I feel like we've done a big disservice by not really tapping into not only who we are as therapists, but to who our client is.
Right. So instead of basically having like, focusing on the client, this specific client, they're running them through a system of what we do with all clients.
Exactly. And not every client is the same, number one. And even if my clients work with me weekly, I'm not doing the same session every single week. That's counterproductive.
And it's so crazy, like that happens a lot, like also in like the medical field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like you go to the doctor and you be like, yo, doc, something's wrong with me. And then the doctor's like, well, just take you a few oxymoxicillins or whatever,
Yeah,
like,
muscle relaxers.
Muscle relaxers and stuff like that, and call it a day. And then, before you know it, 10, 15 years down the line, not only are you hooked on pills, but you're also like you can't get off those pills.
Mm-hmm.
You ever went to a doctor and they say, well, you need to take this for the rest of your life, and you're like, what the?
Like I said, I was there. They had me on breathing treatments for life. I just had a baby. My daughter wasn't even 1 year. Well, no, not just now. At that time, my daughter was not even 1 year old. and they were telling me that at 31 years old and my heart is failing, that I'm on breathing treatments for life, and they don't know what's wrong.
That's crazy.
When all they had to do was what the last doctor did, was tell me to take charge of my health, to move, to eat better, to take just better care of myself and be more intentional with my life. Because there was no way a 31-year-old should be in the hospital with a failing heart.
With breathing, you had to do breathing techniques for the rest of your life.
And more so because I also had 19 pounds of fluid in my lungs.
Wow.
So that was kind of what made that big cross of when they found out that my heart was failing, is because I went undiagnosed for 6 months, ended up with 19 pounds of fluid in my lungs, and my body almost drowned itself, literally.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so when I was rushed to the hospital, that's kind of when they, just had me on all the things.
Could you bring down someone's blood pressure with your techniques?
Definitely.
Ooh, that's dope.
Because a lot of it, everything is based off the nervous system.
Right.
And your nervous system, and are you in fight or flight? And that's where that high blood pressure comes about,
Right.
especially with mind-body connection. So your thoughts will flow through your nervous system. So if your thoughts of, I am not safe, or, oh, I have anxiety, that's going to flow through your body, and your body is going to show you symptoms of anxiety. It's going to show you symptoms of, having high blood pressure or things like that. And this is where the key to it all is getting ourselves out of survival, out of fight or flight, and bringing us to peace, to stillness, to recovery, to rejuvenation, to repair,
Right.
to healing is in the midpoint, when nothing is good, nothing is bad, nothing is high, nothing is low.
Right.
We are at a still frequency.
You just saying that just made me feel calm. Because, of course, they say, all right, stress kills, right? And hypertension, just being tense, period. You know what I'm saying? It can affect your whole body. And, it's just amazing how everything just, correlates with each other, when it comes to things like that. Like, when you just be still, and just...
And just breathe.
And just breathe.
And just be. Because this is how, when you talk about creating peace or even where to begin, everything begins within you.
Correct.
And you have to be able to create your own safe space
Correct.
inside of you to then align with going out and having, you ever go outside and you're traumatized that day? It's like you don't know what's going to happen once you walk out your door that
Facts.
morning. And so when you come back, now you're feeling the weight of the world, you're going through all this mental anguish, when really the best place to be is to be in that stillness, to be in that intention, to where all you got to do is breathe.
Right.
And bring yourself back to center, bring yourself back to that stillness, and put yourself in the environment that is conducive to healing, to recovery. And we all have control of that. We just have been conditioned to believe that taking a day off is bad, resting is bad, recovery is not what it seems to be, when, the techniques I use are so simple, but that's how it's supposed to be designed. Complex things require simple solutions.
Right.
And things that are free, like breathing and sitting down, can really have an effect change in your life, mind-body connection. And so if you affect the mind, you affect the body. If you affect the body, you can affect change in the mind, which is why massage is so important, because you can be going through such a stressful period and you get hands laid upon you that really takes away that stress, because it's breaking down those nervous system signals to say, I'm not in pain, there is no stress, there's no more tension here. Now the body can really be relieved. Now it can breathe. Now you gain clarity. Now you're like, I believe I can live to fight another day. It gives you hope. But the thing is, you don't just have to come see me. You can develop a routine that's for yourself that you do every single day for you that will help the work that I do with my clients. So not only do I take them through the sessions, but I go over before and after care and go over these types of techniques with them all the time to remind them it's really more about what the work you do on a consistent basis versus coming to see me every so often. I mean, I'll fix what you want, but do you want change? Like, what's the goal? Do you really not want to deal with pain anymore? Okay, well, these are tools and techniques that the only thing it's going to take is time. And it's the time that you're giving to yourself. So when you talk about investing in yourself, your mental, your emotional, your spirit, you got to be still for that.
Right.
You got to hear what's going on. You got to feel what's going on. You got to tap inside with your body and in your emotions, and it's like, how am I really feeling right now?
Right.
Do I feel tight? Do I feel like I'm stressed out? Okay, well then, stretching, we need to stretch. Now, I would say I'm not a fan of stretching in like holding for 30 seconds.
Lord Jesus, I hate that.
And coming back.
Right.
Just because I feel like most people, when they start to stretch, it's because they're tight. And so going from 0 to 30 is like trying to stretch cement. And it's kind of counterproductive versus you should be in the flow. So when they talk about our body is made out of 80% water,
Correct.
We can gain mobility through movement and through flow as if we are water.
Correct.
And so dynamic stretching is always the number one go-to that I recommend for my clients, and that I do myself to really have that recovery system.
That's what I was gonna ask too as well. Like, what are some different things that you do outside of, like, what type of therapy systems do you do outside of just using your hands? Like you was talking about breathing techniques and things like that.
Sound bowls, tuning forks,
Dope.
cupping, all different types of cupping, magnets.
I always wonder, how does those sound bowls like help you out and like?
So every sound bowl holds a frequency.
Correct.
And every person holds a frequency.
And we know that frequency travels.
And it travels.
Correct.
And if you're, how they say, low vibration or high vibration.
Correct.
Now, at your highest vibration, you could actually have that measured, and it would say this many hertz at your highest self for this part of the body.
Correct.
And that is what the sound bowls represent, is that they are already attuned to that perfect frequency that your certain parts of your body in your energy chambers should be aligned with. And so when it starts, you hear it, it goes through your cells, through your bodies, you can feel it tingling throughout, and it will transmute and uplift and reattune the frequency that you hold within the body.
Right, that's dope. I seen I know this is totally off subject, right? But I just thought about it, right? What's that Tina Turner movie when she was in the like Num Yo Ho Rengeko?
Look, if anything, I think the relief that most people need is spiritual relief.
Right.
And whatever that means to them, because having the spiritual connection above anything is really what's going to bring you the most peace.
I always wondered, like, you ever use like the needles in your all around you and things like that? You never did that?
No, I have not. I can't apply it because I'm not a doctor, but I have not had it done yet. Right. Okay. But it's on my to-do
your list. Okay.
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
What are some of the, like, you know, the goods of that? Like the pros?
I mean, same thing, releasing trigger points. Everything is just about recovery and resetting your nervous system to the level of homeostasis.
So you're basically about to be like Edward Scissorhands. You about to have like everything all.
I mean, look, I'm definitely open. I love recovery. I love how it makes me feel, and I am so open and curious to different levels of therapy.
That's dope. What are some things that you do outside of being a therapist?
I'm a mom.
That's nice. Congratulations on being a mother.
Thank you.
Motherhood is, I know, a journey in itself.
Yes, it is. But, you know, outside of that, I mean, I run a business, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. And
But you have to stop and reset. You can't think
and
about
I do.
that.
And, you know, and like I said, and I feel like at least right now, I have a very set structure because I'm trying to get somewhere.
Right.
So in that space, I just keep it real simple in my life.
Right.
I show up and be of service to others.
Correct.
I'm in service to myself, and I'm in service to my
I feel
daughter.
like that's one of the biggest things you can do as far as like a purpose in life. You know, be a service to others. Mm-hmm. You know, and because you know we all need each other in a way. So you know somehow we intertwine with each other in the craziest ways. You know,
Yes.
and that's just life. Is there something that you like specifically do like outside? Like I go running sometimes. I like to bike, right? Mm-hmm. And I like to run like 5Ks and things like that. Is something you ever did?
Weight training.
Weight training.
Weight training. I mean,
Okay.
I like Pilates, and I think right now.
What about yoga?
I've done it before. I'm probably not like, not to say nothing wrong. I would, and not to say that, oh, it's not helpful or anything. I've
Right.
been, and it was great. I had a great time. It's just not for me personally. Right. You know, I like something a little bit, you know, more active, more moving.
Because I would, yeah, of course, because you know, of course you don't recommend the stretching for 30 seconds. So why would you do yoga, right? So that's a good one. So when it comes to like the business, let's talk about the business.
Okay.
Right. When it comes to just like your field of work, like we all have like competition. We all have like things in the field that, you know, is constantly evolving. How is your field like constantly evolving within the business?
I think just the new different types of instruments and tools that are made accessible.
Do you have to take new trainings on that? Do you have to get certificates
Every
on
2
that?
years. Every 2 years, I get a new specialty or get some more knowledge from my CEUs and things like that. So I'm always trying to learn or, you know, enhance my studies.
It's so much stuff that they have now. Like you can get something ordered to the house that you know you can zip up and you can go inside like no matter what it is, and like it'll help you know the body function and things like that. Is there something like in the future that you're gonna add on to the resume that you can already see, like as far as what is it?
I won't say right now.
You're not gonna give us the juice.
But there's something in the works.
Okay,
there's
that's
something
good.
in the works because I feel like now, especially, this is my first year working for a professional NFL team versus
sure.
just independent players. So I think with that, you know,
you gotta step the game up.
I'm definitely going to be stepping my game up. So I'm excited for the future.
I feel like, speaking of the future, like I feel like your field is probably one of the last fields to get replaced by AI. Like
Yes.
You would have to actually have an actual robot.
But then even then,
It's still not. It doesn't feel like
it's not human contact. Like
Right.
we were designed for human contact, and then for them to really be like the energy won't be there. Not to say that it won't feel good, but it'll be nothing like.
because there's some freaky stuff that's going on right now. You know that, right? Like it's a lot of like you can get
Like with you talking about with like AI or just in the massage industry?
AI and the massage industry, like. Well, let's just say AI. Let's say.
I'd be like third pet peeve.
Right.
Third pet peeve.
Your third pet peeve. Right. What was your third pet peeve though?
That is people relating massage to a sexual experience.
Right.
That is.
Yeah, and in Atlanta, that's really bad. Like I remember, like what was it like 3-4 years ago, where like all the massage parlors in like downtown Atlanta in Buckhead or something got shut down for like, yeah.
I'm just saying, just call yourself what you are. Like, don't put massage. Don't put massage with it.
Right. But of course, you probably had some people that was like that, and you just like
I would probably say I may have had 1 or 2 clients in the very beginning of my career.
Correct.
But I cut that so short, and
Correct.
I feel like even now, nothing about how I present myself comes
Correct.
off as you could play with me like that.
Right, because right, exactly, and it messes up like it messes it up for the real professional therapists. You know what I'm saying? Because you have so many. I don't want to get canceled, but off-brand therapists, you know, for a lack of term of respect. You know what I'm saying? But you got some of those people that be like, all right, you know what? Let me start with you right here. Let me, you know, get your upper thighs and all this other stuff.
And that's what I'm saying. Just call yourself something else. Don't use the term massage, because that's not anywhere of what that is supposed to mean.
Right.
Or so.
But back to AI, you know. Right. One thing about like AI is crazy because, all right, everybody can use it in their field. Everybody. There's not one field right now that you can't use AI in, right? And have you ever integrated AI into one of your sessions? Like you're like, all right, listen, this guy has a hump in his neck or something like that, and you're like, I need to know how to. No, you never. Do you plan on integrating AI in any type of way? Oh, you're just gonna straight old school.
Well, I believe that I have a gift.
You do.
To execute at the level that I execute. So for me, AI would be, I don't need AI. I am my own AI.
Right.
I receive my own intelligence of how, and my own intuition of how I want to, or what I need to do to address clients. So at least for me, there's no need.
Do you see some of your colleagues in your field do that? Use AI?
They have, you know.
How
even,
did they use AI?
More of like a chat GPT or like coming up with ideas. And, you know, I think I'm a little bit more on the old school. And, you know, I know that's the new wave of trend, but I kind of also believe that you can get all of that within. Like your ideas, we are all connected so deeply. And I feel like you gain connection with people by being yourself, by being authentic, by expressing yourself of what's inside of you, not something that you got as an idea of Chat GPT.
Correct.
Not to say that it can't be useful in other things of how to run the business, but if we're talking specifically of me doing a treatment, that's just not something I'm going to incorporate.
Correct. It's because a lot of people, man, that, you know, it either helps you or hurts you. You know, and that's one of those type of situations. So I respect that you like, hey, listen, I'm sticking to my gift that God gave me, and you know, I'm playing the safe zone. You know?
And like I said, I mean, it's inevitable for us to not use technology, right? Like I use technology, I just. In other instances, I just don't.
But you know what's so crazy? A lot of people though, like they're going back to like, all right, like I seen somebody online. They was like, man, I'm scrolling through social media so much, like I had to go back to a flip phone that I can't even download the app on. You know what I'm saying? So they're reversing, you know, the future of technology to come back to like the real world.
Because it's overwhelming.
It is.
It's made to be a distraction, and it's very distracting. And
social media
sends those signals of you're less than or comparison. We got to compare ourselves to, oh, what is this new trend? What is that new trend? When it's like, stop seeking validation from outside and just seek the validation of the God of your own understanding.
How do you feel? What do you feel about? What do you feel about the future of America? You gotta just throw that out there. You gotta throw that out there one time, just to switch it up a little bit. How do you feel about the future of America?
In my reality, the future is bright.
That's dope.
Because
that's really politically correct. Okay.
I mean, honestly, I haven't paid too much attention to what's outside of.
Let me break it down. All right. So, you know, Bill Gates owns a lot of land, right? He owns a lot of farmland. There's a lot of course, RFK Jr. I believe. He's more so working with, you know, trying to get the better foods for us and things like that. And then you have like China, who owns like all these satellites and things like that. So it's like, it's a lot that's going on with just the future of America, other than the actual politician, is where I'm getting to. You know, how do you prevent yourself from just like, all right, I'm not gonna feed into that, other than just, of course, tuning it out, right? But you gotta eat, right? So it's like, and then you know, you want to trust Whole Foods, you know, but sometimes you can't. You know, you want to trust Sprouts, but then sometimes you can't. I mean, I remember somebody went into Whole Foods and they was just like showing the back of like all these ingredients, and they were like, look at this, this is bad for you, this is bad for you, but you guys are paying like top dollar for something like this. Like, do you like, would you like pick your own garden or something like that, pick your own food or plant your own food, or do you watch things like that?
No, I definitely do. I mean, I watch things about planting herbs and food and things like that, so I'm definitely not against.
You're not against it?
Growing and, you know, growing your crops and living, but, you know, the way that everything is designed, the matrix is designed, it's not necessarily designed for us to win internally. That's why when you separate yourself.
Explain that a little bit more.
So just like you said, all the food is, oh, this is toxic, that's toxic. I can't trust organic. I can't trust Whole Foods.
Right.
Well, look, at the end of the day, all I can do is just focus on myself and trust myself.
Right.
And if I feel that by eating this, whether, oh my God, it has additives or what, look, I can only do what I can do, and I can only do the best with what I am given. It says you should be able to utilize the resources around you.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, my thought process isn't even into that fear of like, oh, I'm having these additives, I'm having this, and that. It's more of like, look, I'm showing up and doing the best for myself, and it's going to translate that. Everything is about intention and energy, regardless of politics and things behind it. And I think once we really separate ourselves from being so consumed with what's going on around us and focus on what's going on within us,
All right.
that's when you have the elevation, that's when you have the growth, that's when you really have everything that you need, is when you seek the higher understanding above that.
Okay, I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't drink sodas,
Right,
you know what I'm
soda's
saying?
bad.
But, I drink a bottle of water, you know? So
Right,
it's like,
right.
you pick and choose your battles, and you just use what you're given and how that translates into you. And if it helps you to your goals,
Right.
it's for you.
Because sometimes, like, some foods, like, make you act a certain way. Right? So that's the reason why I asked as well. What was that? That was that one? All right, we good. Keep going. But sometimes, like, different foods, they actually, you know, make you act a certain way. Like, you know, like the meat intake that you have may make you act a certain way. And, like, that affects, like, the way that you actually move, you know? So watching the intake of the type of food that you take is most definitely, like, hey.
And that's why, like, discipline is your key to freedom.
Right.
You know, no, you shouldn't be eating everything fried and fast food this and fast food that.
Right.
Because I could go to the fast food for breakfast, but I could make the same thing at home and have it be healthier regardless of whatever is in the food from the grocery stores. Like you said, it's just about having that discipline of knowing, if you're even aware of what triggers your body to feel a certain way, what triggers you not to feel a certain way.
Correct. Do you do you cook more, or do you like just
Cook.
You cook more all day? That's dope.
Yeah, and I kind of keep it simple. I probably have only been really cooking about 4 years that I've
Okay.
I've been like really trying to make it consistent, because
Right.
like everybody else, I was just a order out queen. But
Right.
no, it's just so much bigger than just like ordering food.
Correct.
At least for me, I look at everything on a deeper level. So if I want abundance or have money in my life, but I'm always going out to eat, why would I be blessed with more abundance so I could throw it away when I just went grocery shopping and then got
Right.
food at the house?
Right.
But I'm tired, I don't want to do it. So if you're responsible and disciplined with your time, with how you move, if you move with intention, if you move with a purpose that you have towards your goals, everything will be created. That abundance will be created for you, and you don't have to think too much about it as long as you're always being intentional about how you were moving.
Right.
With your food, with everything in your life. How intentional are you with those decisions that you make, and are you being responsible with it?
Talk to him, Allie. Talk to him, Allie. Well, Allie, it's been a great conversation. It's been a great
Yes.
conversation. I have a segment on my show called Give Me a Piece of Advice to Save My Life, right? So, Allie, do you mind giving our audience a piece of advice to save our life?
Get massages. Get your regular body work and massages. If I hear one more person talk to me about their back hurt, their leg hurt, they don't know what to do, yes, you can do something. First, start with a massage. Then we'll go from there. Then you can get into your stretching and everything else. But to save your life, get a massage.
Yeah, because I got a little crick in my neck.
Yeah.
I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But, Allie, thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure for anybody who wants to inquire with you. Because, listen, y'all, she busy. She busy. She's super busy. So you got to pay to play. But if anybody wants to inquire with you or get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Yes, you can hit me up on IG, relief_therapy, and just shoot me a message, and I will respond.
Just like that. Well, there you have it, man. Sean, Teezy, Teezy for the People. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel, Teezy for the People, and also visit www.teezyforthepeople.com. And we're out just like that.